Hi everyone, good morning. In the yesterday's class, if you remember, we studied about a describe and a single it wherein which we want to retrieve these repeater values multiple times. Right. So if you observe here, I have already written the to do, and here also I have written this to do. Every time if I am adding a value, every time I'm just retrieving this to do. Why we need to write this? Don't we have any annotations which we used in a JUnit or a test ng? If you remember, in a JUnit and a test ng, we have a before test, after test, every kind of annotations we have. Don't we have such kind of an annotations here? Of course we do have a certain annotations available here in this particular Jasmine. That particular annotation which we are going to use is before. So I would like to use a before annotation here in the current example, where in which I would like to modify the script logic here. Okay, so here is an example where in which what I'm gonna do right now means, let me create a before annotation here. Okay, so I'm modifying this script. I added before each function here. Okay, I added a before each function. So before each and a function, inside I just opened this one. Where in this one, what I'm doing means I'm deleting my, okay, so I'm deleting my browser dot get from it. Okay, I'm deleting my browser dot get command from it block, and I am placing it here. And then the same way I am removing this to-do list repeater values from the it, and I am placing it in before each. So as of now, in addition to the describe and it, to my Jasmine, okay, to my Jasmine test case or this particular test case, I added a before each annotation in which I added two commands. One is a browser dot get and a to-do list. I added it to before each method. Great. So here we have one it in which initially we are asking it, okay, initially we are asking it to identify the count. Okay, so what I'm doing right now, whatever the other logic we have inside the it, I am deleting that. Except verifying the count as a 2, I removed everything from this particular it. Okay, I am opening this it here. This is the ending for that it. Okay, so in this particular it, if you clearly have a look into that, it contains one expect, where in which it is gonna expect the count as a 2. So to this, I'm adding a one more it here, verifying count. Okay, verifying a count. I'm going for function, and here within this function, whatever the logic we have deleted in a previous it, paste it here. So in this, I would like to add, okay, I would like to add this, which is enter the value, click on this particular one, and at last I would like to compare this value. Okay, I deleted the logic here. So if you clearly observe the previous test script, we modified in such a way that, okay, to the describe earlier, say I'm writing down the syntax, to the describe, it has a single it. Inside the it, we open the application, we perform the repeated values, everything we write down the logic within a single describe and an it. Now we modified it in a such a way that within a single describe, we added a before each. So the significance of the before each is, if there are a multiple its, before executing any it, it will execute the logic present in a before it. And I added two its here, the first it and the second it. In the first it, we are directly comparing the count of checkboxes, whereas in the second it, we write down the logic as add a value to the checkbox and then compare the count. So here we modified the Jasmine test case in such a way that we added a before each annotation and we divided it into two its here. Okay, we divided it into two its here. Okay, that's it. So the first it contains just we are verifying the count and waiting for some time, and the second it also contains verifying the count, but the only thing is we are adding a value and then we are verifying the content. So here, first time I'm changing the value to 8, second time I'm changing the value to 5. So it means both the time I'm asking it to compare with the improper values. I know that the initially it will compare the values are 2, and after adding Surendra Jagannathan, the checkboxes count to be 3. So I know that the first is a 2 and the second is a 3, but I am comparing the first value with the 8 and the second value with the 5. Okay, I'm not modifying anything else. Let me clear my command prompt and run my test script again. So it is launching, and let's see how this is going to work. So if you clearly observe, guys, we modified our test script by adding two different its here, not a single it, two different its followed by before each annotation. Within the before each we specified the browser launch, and every time we are asking it to get to do count. Okay, the significance of this before each is if there are 10 its within a describe, before executing any it will execute the logic present in a before each. That's it, it will execute the logic present in a before each. That's what it's gonna do. So here if you observe the logic outcome, let's see the output of this particular one. Okay, so here the two specs got executed, two specs are failed. Spec means it and it blocks, two it blocks are executed and two it's got a fail. The first it is expected is a 2 and the value is 8. This is the correct one, whatever we want. And the second one is the expected is a 3 and the actual is a 5, which is a fail. This is what my actual thing is. That's what my requirement is that have I given out over there. And here, if you observe, it is specifying with a 1 Angular JS homepage, the 2 Angular homepage verifying the count. If you clearly observe this one, okay, if you clearly observe this one with the it function names, okay, if you clearly observe this one, AngularJS homepage is an AngularJS homepage is a describe content followed by a it values. Okay, AngularJS followed by a it values should be represented here so that we can understand that. Okay, so here let me make a note of here. Okay, let me make a note of here. This one AngularJS homepage is a describe string, and this one is a second int string, and this one is a first int string. Okay, so this is the way it returned. So ultimately what we did in a current test case means we splitted the logic into multiple its. Okay, we splitted the logic into multiple its and we added a before each function. Okay, so the ultimate point, if you observe the test script also, the previous script we modified into a single before it, single before each, which has a multiple its inside that. Okay, which has a multiple its inside that. That's it. So here if there are 10 different its, before each will execute first and then it will retrieve the content. Okay, before each will execute first before executing any content present in a it. Like this, we can write down n number of its. Based on your test cases, you can call these many its and we can write down our test cases. Okay, great. That's all I have for the today's class. We'll see you again in the next session. Thank you. Bye-bye.